Journey to the West, an audio drama series. Chapter 19, Part 1. We speak now of the monster leaving in a fiery light and the great sage following on colorful mist. They came to a high mountain when suddenly the monster gathered the red light and revealed his true form before bursting into a cave. He then brought out a 9-pronged rake for the fight. Xingzhe shouted, "Unruly beast, where did you evil monster come from? How did you know about Elderson's name? What sort of tricks have you got? Deliver the truth, and I shall spare your life." The monster answered, "You have no idea what I am capable of. Come over and stand still while I tell you all about it. I was born dim and lazy. I wasted my days never thinking about building my character. One day a true immortal approached and changed my mind. It would be too late for regrets when this mortal life came to an end, so I decided to cultivate instead. I became his disciple and completed my merits. As I ascended, heavenly immortals welcomed me into their ranks. The Jade Emperor appointed me marshal to oversee the heavenly river and command all sailors. It happened that the Queen Mother held a peach feast, where my mind became clouded by heavy drinking. I was staggering and throwing tantrums. I burst into Guanghan Gong, palace of boundless cold, which lay on the moon. A beautiful immortal maiden came to greet me. Her beauty captivated my soul, and my mortal desires from the olden days could not be extinguished. I lost all sense of manners and respect, and dragged her, asking her to bed me. Repeatedly she rejected me, and dodged my advances with much displeasure. My perverted rage grew as I made thunderous noises that almost toppled the arch of heaven's gates. The divine officer of order reported this to the Jade Emperor, and that was the day my fate was doomed. I was trapped in the palace with nowhere to escape. When all the gods captured me, I was still feeling undaunted due to the wine. I was sent to see the Jade Emperor, and by law I should have been sentenced to death. It was all thanks to the great white gold star who interceded. My sentence was changed to 2,000 strikes by the hammer. It teared open my flesh and almost broke my bones. I was then banished out of heaven and made a living under the mountain of the Blessed Mound. I have sinned and went down the wrong track to rebirth, earning me the secular name of Zhu Ganglie." Xingzhe heard his words and said, "So you're actually the water god Heavenly Reeds who came down to the mortal world. No wonder you know my titles." The monster lamented, "Damn you, rebellious Bima Wen! When you caused all that trouble back in the day, do you have any idea how much you made us suffer? And now you're here to bully me again. Mind your manners and watch my rake." There was no way for Xingzhe to go easy on him, so he lifted his rod and aimed right at the head. In the dark of the night, the two fought at the waist of the mountain. What a splendid battle! Like lightning were Xingzhe's golden pupils, like silver blooms were the monster's round eyes. One puffed rainbow mist, the other breathed red twilight. Breathing red twilight, the dark lit up, puffing rainbow mist illuminated the night. Golden hooped rod and 9-pronged rake, side by side. Here were two heroes who should be praised for their might. One was the great sage descending to the mortal world, the other was a marshal falling from up high. That one became a monster because he lost his dignity, while this one was lucky to have Buddhism save him from plights. The rake came down like a dragon unleashing its claws. The rod went up like a phoenix darting through petals by flight. That one yelled, "Ruining someone's marriage is like murdering their father." This one retorted, "Raping a young girl is an arrestable crime." Amidst the chatter and chide, the rod and rake charged on and flung by. Look, the battle lasted till dawn broke, as the monster's arms became sore and tired. The two of them fought from the second watch all the way till the east turned white. The monster could not handle his opponent, so he escaped in defeat. Again turning into a raging gust, he went straight back into the cave, shut his doors, and did not come out again. Xingzhe found a stone tablet outside the cave. On it inscribed 3 characters, Yun Zhan Dong, meaning Cloudy Path Cave. Seeing the monster was not coming out and it was already morning, he thought to himself, I should not keep my master waiting. Let me head back and check on him. It won't be too late for me to come catch this monster afterwards. And so he stepped on clouds, and by tipping his body, he soon made it back to the old Gao village. We return to Sanzang and the many elders who spent a sleepless night discussing every matter from current to ancient. He was just wondering why Xingzhe had not returned when suddenly he descended to the courtyard. Xingzhe withdrew his iron rod and tidied his clothes before entering the living room, saying, Master, here I am. Panicking, the elders all prostrated themselves together, saying, Thank you for the effort. Thank you for the effort. Sanzang asked, Wukong, you've been away all night. Where is the monster spirit that you caught? Xingzhe explained, Master, that monster is no mortal fiend, and neither is he a mountain beast. He was marshal of the heavenly race descended to the mortal world. It was only because he went down the wrong track to rebirth that he ended up with the face of a wild boar. But he still has his spiritual nature within him. He said he used his appearance as his last name and called himself Zhu Ganglie. Elder Sun wielded my rod to hit him when we were at the back of your residence before he escaped by turning into a wild gust. I swung my rod in the wind, and he turned into a beam of fiery light. He then went straight back into his home cave and took out a 9-pronged rake. He and I fought for the whole night. Just now, when dawn was breaking, he ran away in fear and shut his doors, refusing to come out. Elder Sun will still have to break open that door and have it out with him. But I fear Master will be worried and anxious from the wait, which is why I came back first to give you an update. When he was done talking, old Squire Gao went up and knelt down, saying, Elder, I wouldn't say this if I had any other choice. But even if you managed to chase him away, what should we do if he came back after you left? If it's possible for you to go through the trouble and capture him for me, please do solve this problem once and for all so we don't have to worry about the future. The soul man here dare not be negligent and you will be heavily rewarded. With proper documentation witnessed by my family and friends, this property and all the fields I own can be divided equally between us. I only want the problem gone so it doesn't ruin the reputation of this fine family. Xingzhe laughed and said, You are one old man who doesn't know what is proper. The master did tell me that it was true that he had an enormous appetite and ate a lot of your food, but he also did a lot of good things for you. All the profits you made these years came from his work. He never ate a free meal from you, so he was wondering why you wanted to drive him away. According to him, he was a heavenly god descended to the world below. He diligently served your family and never harmed your daughter. A son-in-law of his kind should be a well-suited match for your family. It will not ruin your reputation or taint your standing. Why not just keep him? Old Gao said, Elder, even though it is not against common morals, it still leaves us with a bad name. Everyone will say that the Gao family had a monster for a son-in-law. How are we ever going to live with that? Sanzang said, Wukong, since you have already fought him once, why not just get this over with once and for all? That would be a proper conclusion. Xingzhe said, I was just joking with him. This time, I will make certain to bring him back for you to see. Don't you worry. He added, Old Gao, do treat my master well. I'm on my way. As soon as he bid farewell, he was gone without a trace. The next moment, he was jumping from the mountain and back at the entrance of the cave. Wielding his iron rod, he shattered the 2 door frames into pieces, shouting, You stuffed idiot! Come out and fight Elder Sun now! The monster was inside the cave, sleeping while panting. He heard noises from the door and someone calling him a stuffed idiot. Going into uncontrollable rage, he dragged his rake and heightened his spirits before dashing out, shouting, You, Bima Wen, are one pesky rascal! What does this have to do with you that you have to break my doors? Go read the law. Breaking through someone's door is a crime punishable by death. Xingzhe burst into laughter and said, What a fool! Even if I break through your doors, I still have room to make an argument for it. You, on the other hand, abducted a woman by force. There was neither a matchmaker as witness nor any tea or wine as wedding presents. And that makes you a felon caught in the act, who should be sentenced to beheading. Quit chattering and watch this old boar's rake. Xingzhe swung his rod against it and asked, "Is this the rake you used in old Gao's place for all the gardening, plowing, and planting? What is there for me to fear?" The monster said, "You made a mistake. This rake is no mortal object. Listen while I tell you all about it. It was forged from divine ice iron in the hands of gods. Every measurement corresponds with a rule in the constellation. It was gifted to me by the Jade Emperor when I was appointed Marshal of the Heavenly Reeds. Fearsome and powerful, nothing of its kind exists in the world. It can transform by spell and never left my side over the years. Sure, I was banished from heaven and sinned upon earth, but this rake can still wreck seas and mountains. What is so hard about winning against you? There is no question that it can claim victories and achieve merits. What is to fear even if you had a copper skull, an iron brain, and a full body made of steel? Once this rake goes down, your soul will fly off and your spirit leak out." Xingzhe heard his words and withdrew his iron rod, saying, "Cut the blabbering, idiot. Elderson will lay his head right here for you to strike. See if my soul will fly off and spirit leak out." The monster indeed lifted the rake and struck down with all his might. With a loud bang, the rake sparked bright flames, but it did not even leave a scratch on the scalp. Frightened, the monster's limbs grew soft and numb as he muttered, "What a fine head! A fine head indeed." Xingzhe said, "You have no idea. When I created all that havoc in heaven with all the stealing and got caught by Erlang, the little sage, I was sent to the palace of Dipper and Bowl. There, all the heavenly gods tried everything on me, from axes and swords to fire and thunder, but nothing could harm me even a little bit. Then the supreme and venerable elder took me away and threw me into the furnace of 8 trigrams. I was forged with divine fire and ended up with fire eyes and golden pupils on top of a body of steel. If you still have doubts, just strike some more and see if I even feel any pain at all." The monster said, "You monkey, I remember when you caused all that havoc in heaven, you were living in the water-curtain cave on the mountain of flower and fruit, which was located in the kingdom of Aolai on the continent of the east. I haven't heard your name for a long while. Why are you turning up here now and bullying me at my door? Could it be that my father-in-law asked you here from somewhere?" Xingzhe answered, "Your father-in-law never went anywhere to ask for me. It was all because Elderson has changed my evil ways for good. I have put behind Taoism and entered Buddhism. I'm now escorting the royal younger brother of the Emperor of Great Tang from the land of the East. His name is Elder San Zang. We're heading to West Heaven to see Buddha for scriptures. We passed by the Gao village to stay the night, when that old man Gao brought the topic up and asked me to save his daughter. That's why I came to take you stuffed idiot out." The moment the monster heard this, he tossed his rake and gestured forward. "Where is the scripture seeker? If you don't mind, please introduce me to him." Xingzhe asked, "What are you meeting him for?" The monster answered, "I have been converted to the good side by Guan Shiyin Bodhisattva. I accepted her commandments and have lived on a vegetarian diet since. She instructed me to follow the scripture seeker to West Heaven, where we will meet Buddha and seek scriptures. My merits will compensate for my crimes, and I will be rewarded with the true fruit." She told me to wait for him, but there wasn't any news for several years. Now that you have become a disciple of his, why didn't you bring up the scripture seeking earlier? Instead, you are threatening me with violence at my door." Xingzhe warned, "Don't you try to calm me by playing soft and thinking you can get away. If you are indeed here to protect the Tang monk and there is no falsehood in your words, you shall make a vow to heaven, and only then will I take you to see my master." The monster dropped to his knees and repeatedly kowtowed to the skies as if he was pounding rice, saying, "Amitabh Namo Buddha. If I were not being truthful in my heart and sincere in my mind, count this as another violation of heavenly laws and shatter my body into 1,000 pieces." Xingzhe saw him make a serious vow and said, "If that's what you're promising, light a fire and burn down this place of yours. Only then will I bring you along." The monster indeed gathered reeds and thorns before setting them on fire, burning the Cloudy Path cave down to a broken pottery kiln. He then said to Xingzhe, I have no second thoughts. Do take me to him now. Xingzhe said, Give me your rake. The monster then handed his rake to Xingzhe. Xingzhe then pulled a strand of hair and breathed divine air onto it, saying, Change! It immediately turned into a 3-ply hemp rope. He then walked up and had the monster's hands tied up at the back. The monster indeed put his hands behind and allowed himself to be tied up in whatever way Xingzhe pleased. Xingzhe then pinched his ear and dragged him along, yelling, Let's get moving, let's get moving. The monster complained, Be more gentle. You are pulling too hard. It's hurting the bottom of my ear. Xingzhe said, I can't be gentle. Your comfort is not my concern. As the saying goes, even a good pig must be handled roughly. Only when you've met my master and proven your true heart will I let you go. Amidst cloud and mist, the two of them came straight back to the Gao village.